billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Women Affairs, our partners, our dear children, distinguished guests, civil society organizations, members of the media, and most importantly, our resilient women and girls of Borno State. Please allow me to stand on already established protocol. We gather here today to inaugurate the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, and the theme for this year, tracing the root, standing against gender-based violence. The theme is a call to action, urging us to delve deeper into the underlying causes of this pervasive issue and develop comprehensive strategies to address it effectively. In Borno State, like many other parts of the world, gender-based violence casts a long shadow. The devastating impact of the Boko Haram insurgency has exacerbated the existing vulnerabilities, leaving women and girls disproportionately affected by sexual violence, forced displacement, and economic hardship. These experiences have created a complex web of trauma that extends far beyond the immediate physical and emotional harm. However, to truly combat gender-based violence, we must go beyond the immediate symptoms and confront the root causes. We must acknowledge that gender-based violence is not simply an individual act, but a manifestation of deeper societal issues. Harmful cultural norms and practices that normalize or justify violence against women must be actively challenged and dismantled. Socioeconomic inequalities, lack of access to education and health care, and limited economic opportunities contribute to women's vulnerability to violence. Empowering women economically and socially is crucial to reducing their risk. Weak legal frameworks and enforcement create an environment where gender-based violence can thrive. Strengthening legal protections and ensuring that effective enforcement are critical steps. Lack of access to essential services such as medical care, psychosocial support, and legal aid must be addressed by investing in and expanding available services. Our strategy to combat gender-based violence must be multi-pronged, targeting these root causes. It requires a collaborative effort from all sectors of society, including raising awareness through comprehensive campaigns to educate the community about gender-based violence, challenging harmful social norms, and promoting healthy relationships.
Gifts to the participating schools. At the end of each month, we have this time around is going to be given to the school for training such, excellence. Yeah, so please.
That is Her Excellency Dr. Falmata Babagana Marazulu, uwar marayu na Borno kenan. Sweet mother, sweet mother.
Dauka kuma kai zan karanta shi kenan. Zan baki yanzu. Kai tafi. Zan baki ne tafi da shi. Haka kai suna ki. Nice. Great wallahi.
Excellency, the First Lady Borno State, Dr. Falmata Babagana Marazulu.
And now, thank you. And now,
All praise to our mother, Her Excellency Dr. Falmata. All grace to your elbow, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Barry of Ocha, our brother Christian Sabum of the UNFPA. I can see Mamita from the UNICEF. Other partners, UNHCR, you are welcome, sir. And all the INGOs and our local NGOs. Women-led, I didn't forget you. Antilla de Klerk, thank you for always being there with your team. Our great women politicians, especially the senior special assistants and SAs to the governor attached to the Ministry of Women Affairs. Thank you. Other women groups, Enfocus, you are welcome. Antina, Mama Nakoa, all of you, our beautiful women. We recognize your presence and we are happy you are here. Our beautiful children that are here present. And my special children, people living with disabilities. Nam Kumara Badazua. Gaji? Sandunku Dazua. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Police band. My colleagues, media people, I appreciate you as always. Madam Mary Protocol and her team, Kafingi Lefi. Other members of Her Excellency's entourage, Antitite, Dr. Shwaram, Dr. Majama, sorry, I can't see all of you, but all of you I collectively recognize this morning. DJ, welcome. So it is my honor to address you today as we join the global community in observing the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. This campaign is a powerful call to action for all of us to stand united against a menace that undermines human dignity and equality. This year's theme, which we have localized it to tracing the roots standing against gender-based violence. Each year, the UN comes out with one theme, but we look at the local content. What are our challenges in Borno? And in agreement with our partners, we adopted tracing the roots standing against gender-based violence. It challenges us to confront the deep-seated cultural and systematic factors that perpetuate gender-based violence. It reminds us that to achieve lasting change, we must address not just the symptoms, but also the root causes of this issue. Let me begin by commending His Excellency, my Governor, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, MNI, FNSE, CON, and Grand Commander of Niger Republic, whose visionary leadership has paved the way for progress and inclusivity in Borno State. His unwavering commitment to the welfare of the people, especially women and children, has set a strong foundation for our collective efforts to address GBV. I also extend our warm welcome and appreciation to Her Excellency, Dr. Falmata Babagana Umaro Zulum, for her compassionate leadership and advocacy. Her Excellency has consistently championed the roots and well-being of women and children, providing support and hope to survivors of violence across our state. Her commitment inspires us to do more in this vital fight. Thank you, Your Excellency. The Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, in collaboration with various partners and stakeholders, has made significant progress in combating GBV through empowering survivors, offering access to safe spaces, counseling, and economic opportunities to rebuild their lives. We have a beautiful one-stop center in Budum in collaboration with JICA, that's the Japanese government, and UNFPA. Community engagement, conducting awareness campaigns to educate communities, to break the culture of silence and promote behavioral change. This we have been doing the last 6 years, since the assumption of duty of His Excellency and his team from 2019 to date. It's a continuous community engagement process. Strengthening the legal frameworks, ensuring that perpetrators are held accountable and survivors receive justice and protection. VAP and the child rights law are domesticated in Borno State. And since those laws came to be, we have witnessed a lot of convictions in collaboration with FIDA, Ministry of Justice, our traditional rulers and traditional leaders, and of course the security agency, especially the Nigerian police, where we have gender desk in every of the divisions. Engaging men and boys, where we encourage their active involvement as allies in changing harmful gender norms and fostering respect and equality. However, the fight against GBV cannot be won by government or organizations alone. It requires a collective effort from all of us, families, communities, religious and traditional leaders, civil society organizations, and individuals. We must work together to create a society where everyone is safe and treated with dignity. As we commemorate these 16 days, I urge every one of us to take action. And so, let's speak out against violence in all its forms. On behalf of Her Excellency once more, I welcome all of you to this auspicious occasion. And I hope at the end of the day, we have very, very far-reaching takeaways to break the culture of silence, to stop making victims as if they are the perpetrators. We must support them. I have some survivors here. I deliberately refuse to identify them because of stigmatization. But these are very strong young girls. They are what we call the resilient women of Borno. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jama'a assalamu alaikum. A madadin mamanmu matan gwamna
We are about to recite the national anthem. Idan za mu samu flag of the 16 days of action. Some months ago, we successful, productive, and promising 360 event. We want to start with, before we do that, my names are, as always, thank you. You can call me Johnson. Amongst us this morning are beautiful people, some of our dignitaries. I want to start by recognizing, also specially recognize, we want to take this moment to special Uwar Marayu, Maman Maganan Kuka, Umar Azulum, we want to also recognize the presence of the highly honored for your presence. We want to also recognize and their fight against gender-based violence. To move forward, I want to also recognize bond work in Borno State. Please, let's appreciate her. We also want to... We have in our midst also the GBB subsector coordinator, Hira. All right, thank you. Please, I take correction, Mohammed Hamza. One more time, can we celebrate him? We want to also recognize the presence of, in the person of Mr. Ibrahim Bari. We also want to recognize Christoph Bill. We also want to recognize all, welcome each Zuwaga, one number Bantaro, Nawana Rana. We are about to flag off this very great event.
Girma Dr. Falmata Babagana Umar Zulum, muna muku maraba da zuwa a wannan taro da muka saba yi tun da babanmu mai girma gwamna ya zama gwamna. Wato shekaranmu 6 kenan muna wannan taro. Kuma alhamdulillahi mun samu canci. Domin me dalilin wayannan taro da maganganun da ake yi, Borno State ta ba da dokan, gwamna ya sa hannu a dokan hana fyaɗe da tozartawa mata. An kuma sa hannu akan ba ma yara 'yancinsu. Kuma kulli yomin duk program da gwamna yake yin kun duba tun kafin ma mu samu zaman lafiya ana palliative a Borno kowane yawon gari palliative ne. Ba lokacin da gwamna baya raba abinci, kuma musamman wayanda suke amfana da abinci da kayan aiki da tallafin da yake bayarwa yawanci mata ne. Saboda haka mu a Borno ba abin da za mu ce sai dai mu gode ma gwamnati, ba abin da za mu ce sai dai mu ci gaba da addu'a, mu roƙi Allah ya kawo mana zaman lafiya. Muna godiya ga partners ɗinmu, wato abokanan da muke haɗa kai mu yi irin wayannan biki kowane shekara. Muna kuma fata wannan ƙwazanci da tawakali da ƙoƙari
musamman yaranmu da aka tozarta ma ko sun su a cikinmu kullum muna musu kallo su ne tauraron Borno domin me an tozarta musu wasu su an musu fyaɗe amma Allah ya dafa kafaɗansu yau Allah ya sa suna nan daram dam wasu su sun koma makaranta wasu sun yi aure wasu suna sana'ansu to ubangiji Allah ya kawo mana zaman lafiya a Borno Allah ya sa ya kare mana shugabanninmu Allah ya sa kuma duk abin da aka yi a yau za a koma gida waɗanda kuka ga ba su da baki a taimaka musu a ce akwai doka a Borno an hana cin zarafin mata. Salamu alaikum.
Thank you, DJ. Words of support to survivors keep resounding in our minds day in, day out. Thank you, Ma, for welcoming our guests. We are now going...
Iyayen mata da kuna nan, ba wa kowane shekara za mu taru mu zo nan ana yin 16-day activism ba. Rana ne da muke so a ƙarsar da cin zarafin 'yan mata da yaran maza yanzu. Iyayen mata kuliyomi ina magana. Idan ana magana cewa cin zarafi ya kamata ke uwa a gida ki fara yi wa yarki magana, ki fara gaya mata cewa akwai wuraren da bai kamata a taba jikinki ba. Amma sai muna yin zaman zube, karan zube. Mata sai dai ba abin da muke za mu je biki mun bar da amana da Allah ya bamu na 'ya'ya da ya kamata za mu koya musu maganan addini da kuma maganan yadda za su yi zama a cikin al'umma. Ina so zai yi sharin wani abu a nan kuliyomi idan na samu zarafi kamar haka na kai so in yi wannan magana mata iyayen mata amana Allah ya ba mu idan ba mu yi hankali ba Allah sai ya tambaye mu ni uwa ce da na ga cewa ƴaƴana duk ƴaƴanan nan koya musu cewa akwai wuraren da bai kamata a taba jikinka ba ko kai ɗa namiji ko ke ɗa na mace aka wayi gari wata ta zo gidana ta ajiye min ƴarta yaro na tun yana karami na masa waka a gaban shi nace idan kai wasa da gaban ka zaka shiga wuta aka wayi gari ko ya na mace ne ta zo za ta yi rafi mini yaro za ta yi wa ɗana fyaɗe ba maganan dariya bane because duniya ya riga ya canza wannan abin nan da muke ba wa ƴaƴanmu wannan handset zai kai mu ga halaka yarinya ta tashi ta cire wandon ta bude gaban ta wai yaro ne ya sa gaban shi sai ya ce ba zai sa ba don zai shiga wuta abin ya faru cikin dare kashe gari da safe ya kamata mu iyaye mata mu kawo ƴaƴanmu kusa da mu sai ya ce mini momi na ce yaya ya ce kin ga wannan yarinya bad girl ne na ce mishi me ya faru ya ce ta tashi sai ya cire wando shi ya kwanta da lilin shi a sama ya ce wai in sa lilina na ce sai kai yaya ce naki domin ba na son shiga wuta iyayen mata ba ma kowa ƴan mata mu last 2 weeks ina police station yarinya mai shekara 8 domin ba ga mata cewa kana yadda a sa hannu a gabanta ba an bata ta Allah ya ba mu amana muna hypocrisy in an ce za a yi maganar sex education sai muna wallahi babu sai yare ta yi ciki comrade Lucy kina ina ai ga abin da ya faru yare mai shekara 14 ta yi ciki bata san ta yi ciki ba because the mother did not tell her these are the dangers of these things ya kamata mu Allah ya ba mu wayannan yaya mu zama cewa muna nan mu koya musu abin da ya kamata in yi maganar addini da next one da za a yi sai a fara zama yadda ake zama a cikin gari domin akwai mutane banzaye da suke cikin gari suna nan suna bata mana yara ina yan makaranta a nan ku ji wannan waka ku je ku ga malamanku don't touch my bombo if you do I will tell my teacher or I will tell my mommy I will tell my daddy don't touch my bombo don't touch my bombo if you do I will tell my mommy I will tell my daddy if you touch. So this is a goodwill message from the Borno. I'm representing my chairperson, though she's around, but she gave me the mandate to come and do that. Thank you very much.
All right.
Presenting the country director for International Medical Corps, Nigeria, to speak at the official flag out of this year's 16 days of activism against gender-based violence here in Borno State. Today, we come together to raise our voices against an issue that has deeply affected individuals, families, communities across the world, gender-based violence. Our gathering here today is not just a symbolic gesture, but a reaffirmation of our collective commitment to ending violence against women and girls, upholding the rights of women and girls, and ensuring that survivors are supported, protected, and given the opportunity to rebuild their lives. Gender-based violence is rooted in cultures. Gender-based violence is rooted in traditions that stem from our belief system that come from a patriarchal system. Gender-based violence is rooted in our understanding and usage of power that limit the life of women and girls. And until we are able to analyze these deeply rooted aspects, change will remain limited. The theme of this year's celebration is tracing the root standing against gender-based violence. The theme reminds us of the commitment made nearly 3 decades ago under the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, which provided a roadmap for advancing women's rights and gender equality. It calls on us all, government, civil society, international organizations, communities, and individuals, to renew our commitment to ensuring that no woman or girl is left behind in our efforts to achieve gender equality and justice. In Borno State, where the effects of conflict and displacement have created an environment of vulnerability for women and girls, and where women and girls have faced some of the highest form of discrimination and violence, from sexual violence to domestic violence, from early marriage to trafficking, the challenges are immense. Yet we know that there is hope. Through our collective efforts, we have seen the strength and resilience of women and girls who are determined to break free from the cycle of violence and oppression. IMC, alongside other partners, have been proudly offering survivor-centered services that include medical care, psychosocial support, legal assistance, and community outreach programs. We believe that every woman and girl deserves to live a life free of fear, free of violence, and access opportunities that allow them to reach their full potential. However, this work cannot be done alone. It is only through strong partnership, shared resources, and collective advocacy that we begin to address the root cause of gender-based violence and make lasting changes. Today's event is not just about raising awareness, it is about taking concrete actions to prevent and respond to violence in our communities. It is about ensuring that every woman and girl has access to justice, support, and a future full of hope. I want to take this moment to express my deepest gratitude to the government of Borno State, to the governor of Borno State, and Her Excellency, the First Lady. My gratitude to all partners and stakeholders and community leaders who have worked tirelessly to make this event possible. Your commitment to the cause of ending violence against women and girls has been invaluable, and it's only through our continued dedication that we can bring about meaningful change. As we embark on these 16 days of activism, let us all commit to taking actions, not just in words, but in deeds. Let us challenge harmful stereotypes, support survivors, strengthen community resilience, and hold perpetrators accountable. Together, we can create a society where every individual, regardless of your gender, can live in safety and dignity. Let us work together for a better, safer, and more equitable future for all. Before I take my seat, I want to challenge all men in the hall, and all men hearing my voice to do something meaningful, something good, something that puts smiles on the faces of women and girls in your life. It can be just little thing. It can be a gift. It can be just cooking in the home. It can be just washing, contributing to domestic tasks. Anything that puts smiles on the faces of women in your life during this course of the 16-day period will be appreciated. And if we can commit to not committing any form of violence during the course of this 16-week period, you get to understand, this 16 days period, you got to understand the importance of non-violence. Before I take my seat, I want to extend my thanks to the Ministry of Women Affairs leadership and the GBV subsector for granting us this privilege to say a word. Thank you, and remain blessed.
All the directors, commissioners, UN agencies, international partners, and CSOs. I would also like to thank all the GBV subsector partners, particularly International Medical Corps, which has been extremely working tirelessly for last 4 months for making today's launch happen with enthusiasm and commitment to end gender-based violence. Today we celebrate the 16 days of activism, which provides an important opportunity each year to GBV subsector joining forces with the key players from the government, UN agencies, international and national humanitarian actors to commemorate the 16 days of activism. The 16 days of activism against GBV campaign began in 1991. So since then, it has become a global platform for awareness, advocacy, and action to end violence against women and girls. Linking 25th November, which is today, marking the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women, to 10th of December, marking Human Rights Day. So understanding the theme for this year, which is tracing the roots, standing against GBV, emphasizes identifying and addressing the root causes of GBV, including social norms, structural inequalities, and systemic discrimination. GBV remains a global crisis, affecting 1 in 3 women in their lifetime, cutting across all ages, race, and socioeconomic statuses. Over here in Nigeria, Northeast Nigeria, locally, according to the GBV IMS data, which indicates a 5% increase in gender-based violence reported incidents compared with last year, which is 2023. So Borno had the highest percentage of reported incidents at 84%, followed by Adamawa at 10% and Yobe at 6%. Now these incidents include different types of gender-based violence, including sexual assault and sexual violence, intimate partner violence, forced marriages, female genital mutilation, etc. among women and girls and children, amongst both IDPs and hosting population. The factors such as conflict, displacement, economic instability, and climate-induced events such as floods has also exacerbated gender-based violence in Northeast Nigeria. Addressing the root causes of GBV, which also includes power imbalances, toxic masculinities, cultural norms, economic vulnerabilities, are key to success. So GBV subsector partners have been addressing these root causes over the years through interventions on prevention to gender-based violence, by community awareness and education, economic empowerment, and providing life-saving and comprehensive gender-based violence services in the Northeast. Over the last 4 years, the 16 Days of Activism campaign has galvanized government, civil society, and individuals through awareness and accountability for pushing the legal and policy reforms through WAP implementation and taking prevention and response actions by mobilizing the community-led interventions. On this day, we stand united and also call upon government, partners, and allies to end violence against women and girls in northeast Nigeria. Together, we can trace the roots of violence and replace them with seeds of equality, respect, and safety for all. Thank you very much.
Affairs and Social Development. I couldn't speak better than her, so it's better for me to go straight to my speech. So I'm standing here on behalf of UNFPA, that is the UN Reproductive Health Agency, to once again make commitment on UNFPA's role to fight against gender-based violence through the work it does with its partners in the Northeast. I won't go back to the theme of this day that has already been raised by our colleagues and other speakers before me, but I would just go directly to say that UNFPA is actively leveraging on this initiative to amplify the campaign on the prevention and elimination of gender-based violence against women and girls through emphasizing the urgency of strengthening accountability and ending violence against women and girls by holding perpetrators accountable and accelerating actions through well-resourced national strategy and also increased funding to end gender-based violence in the Northeast and particularly in Borno State. In Nigeria and particularly in Borno State, UNFPA's work with the government and partners has contributed in raising awareness on gender-based violence and harmful practices. We can cite some examples like the work we do by engaging men and boys to address gender-based violence, the work we do in engaging traditional and religious authority, as we know these are the gatekeepers and they have a very, very amplified voice when it comes to fight against gender-based violence. All this is done through the call to action on the protection of gender-based violence in situation of emergency, which many partners here have committed, and also want to take the opportunity to appreciate the leadership of the government of Borno through the Honorable Commissioner of Women Affairs and the Director of Women Affairs that have been piloting this movement, that is a call to action in Borno State. We also want to use this opportunity to highlight the work UNFPA has been doing to advocate for reviews of laws and also advocate for the passage of laws to address gender-based violence. I think the speaker before me mentioned the VAP law, which was passed in Borno, of course in Borno State, which we are still working together with partners to make sure that this law is fully implemented. I could hear Lucy speak of that law here in Hausa, even though my Hausa resonates very well in the evening, but I know she mentioned that law very, very clearly. I also know that, of course, the Commissioner of Women Affairs is also pushing very hard on this, also bringing on board other stakeholders like the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Women Affairs, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Education, and including the security operatives like the police. Because addressing gender-based violence is not an effort of one partner alone. We need multi-sectorial approach to deal with this. And we can never succeed if we don't have all these key stakeholders on board. UNFPA is also working with partners to ensure that we have prevention and response services on board. Yeah, I was happy also when the Commissioner mentioned the one-stop center, which is just one of those that we've established across Borno State to provide multi-sectorial GBV services, because we can, when GBV has occurred, we need to address it. We need to address the consequences. Services needs to be available. Service points needs to be available and accessible. We need to get trained personnel to provide such services. And one of those is the one-stop centers, which through the government, we have been able to establish a number of them in Borno State, and which we are working with the Ministry of Women Affairs to do so in other LGAs, especially LGAs of return. We also have safe spaces for women and girls, and of course, other activities that have been done through the leadership of the Ministry of Women Affairs to build capacities of police officers and, of course, legal practitioners, as I mentioned earlier. So, Your Excellency, fellow participants here, UNFPA, as I stand here, we commit to continuously work with every partner that has effort, or that is driving effort towards eliminating gender-based violence. And we will not stop until there is zero gender-based violence and harmful practices in Borno, as this is preached by UNFPA 3 transformative results. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. It's with immense honor and privilege that I deliver this goodwill message on behalf of Mr. Tron, the head of OCHA, and the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. We are deeply grateful for this opportunity to join hands with the Borno State Government, UNFPA, and all stakeholders in launching the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence in Borno State. The global campaign of the 16 days of activism serves as a powerful reminder of the collective responsibility we share to end violence against women and girls. This year, the theme, Towards Beijing Plus 30, Unite to End Violence Against Women and Girls, underscore the importance of accelerating our effort as we approach the 30th anniversary of Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. Here in Borno State, the significance of this campaign cannot be overstated. The long-standing crisis in the Northeast has disproportionately affected women and girls, exposing them to heightened risk of gender-based violence, exploitation, and abuse. These challenges are compounded by systematic inequalities, cultural barriers, and the impact of the displacement, making the need for urgent and sustained action even more critical. As we gather here today, let us reaffirm our commitment to addressing the root causes of gender-based violence and creating a safe and inclusive environment for all. This requires a multifaceted approach, strengthening institutional framework to prevent and respond to gender-based violence effectively, expanding access to psychological, legal, and medical support for survivors, engaging community, especially men and boys, in dismantling harmful norms and fostering gender equality, promoting education and economic empowerment as tools to protect women and girls from violence. At UN OCHA, the entire UN and humanitarian community, we are committed to supporting the coordination of humanitarian partners and ensuring that GBV prevention and response remain at the heart of our collective effort in Borno State and beyond. I commend the Borno State Government, UNFPA, and all stakeholders for their dedication to address this cause. The distribution of dignity kits, the inclusion of children with disability, and the engagement of youth council in today's activity exemplify the inclusive approach needed to drive the meaningful change. Let us all be inspired by the resilience and courage of women and girls who face these challenges every day. Together, we can work towards a future where no woman or girl suffer violence, where their rights are respected, and where their potential is fully realized. On behalf of OCHA, I reaffirm our support for the 16-day of activism campaign and the broader fight against gender-based violence. Let this day mark another step forward in our collective journey towards justice, equality, and dignity for all. And whenever I have this opportunity, I always express my gratefulness to the Excellency, the Professor Babagana Zulum, the Governor of Borno State, for his continued commitment to maintain constructive working relationship with humanitarian and development partners. We are really grateful to Borno State government for facilitating our work, and I would like really to, as I said, to recognize this effort in coordinating humanitarian response with us, with all of us, as humanitarian and development partners. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. Wassalam.
I'm good.
My name is Favor Emmanuel Wakawa, a representative of FDDC Mongono.
My name is Martin John, a representative of Government Girls College Maiduguri.
My name is Belkis Muhammad Daratu, representing Government Girls College Maiduguri.
My name is
Mrs. Kalmata Abubakar Kureshi, representing Government Girls Day Secondary School, Zajebu. My name is Patience John, a representative from Government Girls Day Secondary School, Zajebu.
Thank you very much. With me here, I have a total of 30 questions, but we are going to be taking 3 rounds. So the first round, you pick your questions, then the second round, pick your questions, and then the last round, you pick your questions. So I have with me from question 1 to 30. So I will be starting with the first school. So please pick your question from 1 to 30.
Number 1.
Thank you. Question number 1. What is gender-based violence? A. I will read the options. I have options here. So you just say the options that you feel is okay. Question 1. What is gender-based violence only? B. Violence based on gender, sex, or perceived gender identity. C. Physical violence only. D. Emotional abuse only.
B.
That's correct. Question number 2. Which of the following is a type of GBV, that is gender-based violence? A. Verbal argument. B. Physical fighting. C. Sexual harassment. And D. Physical maltreatment. A. Verbal argument. B. Physical fighting. C. Sexual harassment. And D. Physical maltreatment.
A.
That's wrong. Question 5. What is female genital mutilation? FGM. A. Traditional practice. B. Cosmetic surgery. C. Harmful alteration of female gentilation. D. Medical procedure.
What's the question?
I come again. What is female genital mutilation? A. Traditional practice. B. Cosmetic surgery. C. Harmful alteration of female gentilation. Then D. Medical procedure.
C.
C. That's correct. What is the common effect of GBV? Common effect of GBV. A. Physical harm. B. Emotional trauma. We're talking about the consequences now. C. Low self-esteem. D. All of the above.
D.
Let's clap for her. She's correct. Question number 3. Okay. Who are most likely to experience gender-based violence? Who are most likely to experience gender-based violence? A. Women and girls. B. Men and boys. C. LGBTQ. Then D. Young infants. Who are most likely, who are most vulnerable to gender-based violence?
B.
Women and girls. Let's clap fast. This is the last second round. This is the last call for the second round. So please pick your question.
4.
Question number 4. Is it question number 4?
Yes.
Okay. What is domestic violence? What is domestic violence? A. Violence between strangers. B. Violence within intimate relationship. C. Emotional abuse only. D. Physical violence only. I come again. What is domestic violence? A. Violence between strangers. B. Violence within intimate relationship. C. Violence, emotional abuse only. And D. Physical abuse only.
A.
No, that's not correct. It's B. Violence within intimate relationship. So we'll go to the last round of the questions. So please pick your question.
Question 10.
Question number 10. Please listen carefully. I will not be repeating questions in this round. Just listen carefully. Question number 10. How can GBV be prevented? How can gender-based violence be prevented? A. Educating women only. B. Challenging harmful stereotypes. C. Increasing punishment for perpetrators. And D. Providing economic supports.
B. Challenging harmful stereotype.
Yeah, that's correct. Let's start.
Question number 8.
Question number? Question number 8. Which of the following can lead to gender-based violence? Which of the following can lead to gender-based violence? In other words, I can say, what are the contributing factors to gender-based violence? A. Discipline. B. Lack of education, which is also known as illiteracy. C. Good conduct. And D. Poverty.
B.
Lack of education, illiteracy, which is correct.
Number 11.
Question number 11. Okay, just listen. Question number 11. What should you do if you experience gender-based violence? What should you do if you experience gender-based violence? That is, what should you do if an act of GBV has been perpetrated against you? A. Keep it a secret. B. Seek help. C. Ignore it. D. Fight back.
C.
C. Ignore it. That's not correct. You said? What's it? C.
C. You said it's C.
I said A. Keep it a secret. B. Seek help. C. Ignore it. And D. Fight back.
It's B.
She said B and she said C in the initial stage. So should we give her this? Okay, let's give it up. All right. I think we'll just get the scores for after the first 3 rounds. So can we get the scores for the first 3 rounds so that we know the schools that are pushing through? Can I have the scores? No, just okay. At the end of the first 3 rounds, we have government guests. Okay, we have government girls day secondary school with a total score of 30 points. Sorry, 20 points. 20 points. Then we have federal government girls college with a total score of 30 points. And then we have government girls college Maiduguri with a total score of 20 points. Basically, the last round. I'll be pleased to announce the first position for this quiz. I have with federal government guest college Moguno with a total score of 30 points, while the 2 other schools have a tie of 20. We have a winner of the quiz, and then I will call it a day for today. Thank you very much for participating.
Thank you. There is going to be a special presentation. A takaice yace kowane makaranta. And now from 2 groups. The first group would be special children living with disabilities and also Children Youth Council. We'll start with children with disability and we move to CYC.
Yes, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning all. My name is Precious Joseph from Borno Special School. Today, we stand together to fight against gender-based violence. Our friends that are struggling and battling to free themselves from this pandemic. It is a fight for equality, justice, and human rights. We can break this. We can break this. We can break this silence by speaking out against gender-based violence and support survivors and hold perpetrators accountable gender-based violence. It is not a issue. It is not a issue for humans. It is not a issue for humans. How can we do? We can educate ourselves and others and support organizations that support survivors. Let us rise up against gender-based violence. Create a world where everyone is safe. Respect and value. Thank you.
And the fellow advocates. My name is Bakura Muhammad, a student from Borno Special School for Life. Today, we gathered here to flag off the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. This global campaign is a call to action, a reminder that we must work together to eliminate the scourge of gender-based violence from our communities. Gender-based violence is a pervasive issue that affects us all, regardless of our background, culture, disability, and the socio-economic status. It is a violation of human rights. 1 in 3 women worldwide experience physical or sexual violence, mostly by an intimate partner. Millions of girls are subjected to child marriage and other forms of violence. But today, we say enough is enough. We will no longer tolerate the silence, the stigma, and the shame that surround gender-based violence. We will no longer stand by while our mothers, sisters, daughters, and our friends are brutalized, marginalized, and excluded. So, what can we do? First, we must acknowledge that gender-based violence is an issue that requires a collective response. We must recognize the violence against women and girls is a symptom of a broader societal problem, a problem of power imbalance, of patriarchy, and of inequality. Second, we must educate ourselves and others about the root causes of gender-based violence. Thirdly, we must support survivors, listen to their story, believe their testimony, and amplify their voices. We must provide them with safe spaces, with counseling, and with economic impact. Finally, we must demand accountability from our leaders, our institutions, and ourselves. We must push for policies, laws, and programs that prevent gender-based violence, support survivors, and punish the perpetrators. In conclusion, fighting against gender-based violence is not a sprint, but a marathon that requires persistence, patience, and collective action. I have faith in us I have faith that together we can create a world where women and girls are free from fear, free from violence, and free to reach their full potential. Thank you.
And stand against gender-based violence. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome. In the quiet dawn, where hope should rise, echoes of voices, circled by pens, women and girls, their stories unfold, of courage and scars, silence untold. See the world through her watchful eyes, a daughter's dreams, a mother's cries, the strength she holds, yet shadows bloom, a promise of safety mixed with gloom. Dignitaries, leaders, hear her song, to invest in peace where it should belong, not just words, but action bold. A promise to keep, a future to hold. Invest in her safety, her voice, her choice. Invest in her dreams, her life, her voice. For every seed of peace we plant, we build a world where fear can chant. Let not one more story of suffering grow, but gardens of freedom that forever glow. Together we shield, together we heal. A world united with moves made real. Stand with us now. Let's courage, ignite, pledge for the future. Invest in the light. Their dreams never achieved. Their mouths no chance. They wanted to live, but we've already took a decision for them. Is it a crime to be born female? End gender-based violence against women and girls. Thank you for listening.
The Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development will stand to appreciate you. We don't have enough words to appreciate you for giving us the backup, for giving us the support, for being the mother, and for also being the sister, and also being a grandmother. Police band, all other dignitaries and
survivors have been taken care of.
Thank you very much. If you look at the theme for today, it's tracing the causes of gender-based violence, because we believe that without addressing the cause of the problem, we'll not be able to address it properly. We have had the VAP law passed, we have the child rights law passed in Borno State. And so with the domestication of these laws, everybody in Borno State knows that the era of violence against women and girls is over. And so on this note, I want to inform you that as a government, under the leadership of His Excellency Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, we have taken it as a personal cause to provide succor, both through provision of mental health and psychosocial support, through sponsoring them to schools, through empowering them with various skills, and then giving them startup kits at the end of the exercise. All GBV survivors in Borno State are continuously being supported to ensure that they forget about the past and trauma they have gone through and are able to reintegrate and join other members of the community. All activities we do as a government, there is an inclusivity. Apart from people living with disabilities, GBV survivors are number one on our agenda. And I refuse to show them to, but you could see that they wore the same clothes with us. And I'm very happy the girls are going back to school. Some of them we have engaged them in various workspaces, while the ones that have children, we are also giving support to the children.
Why is it so important that today you're giving out dignity kits to girls and vulnerable women?
This is very critical because one of the causes we find in our assessment procedure is lack of dignity kits could also lead to some kind of GBV, because in the process of trying to reach out for support to even purchase these kits, some of these girls become vulnerable. And so we feel that when we empower these girls, we have removed one of the traces or one of the factors that is responsible for GBV. In addition, you could also see that we deliberately set out to use our girls in today's activity. We had quiz program, they recited poem, they did a lot of things because we want to plant it in their minds, in their hearts, that GBV starts right from the day you are born. You don't wait until you are old before you begin to address it. So it is a deliberate procedure as we continue to find solutions and also address the critical causes of GBV.
And finally, the perpetrators, what's the message you have for them?
That is why we have the law in place. We have an implementation committee. We work directly with the Ministry of Justice, with FIDA, with MBA, with security agencies, with our traditional rulers, our religious leaders. Everybody in Borno is a stakeholder. And so with this law, we know that if you go and do anything outside the ambit of the law, you go to jail. And we have had series of convictions. Thank you.